Hi friends, very good morning to all of you. Hope you all are fine. We are going to a portrait of the artist as a young man written by James Joyce. I thought of taking it in detail, at least the first chapter, because it's very important. The techniques that he employs are very important to know the novel well. All of you must constantly bear in mind that a portrait is full of symbolism and irony, and this is one of the chief difficulties in understanding what is happening in the novel. We have studied Kite Runner and it was very easy to understand. It was a very smooth story going, there is a timeline, there is a plot, so there is no difficulty to understand it, but this novel is entirely different. As the literary critic says, in quotation, this is principally because Joyce's oblique technique of presenting a disjointed storyline as though it were recollected at random in imitation of the haphazard, fragmentary process by which the mind recalls events, people, snatches of conversation and names, produces a narrative that is seldom neat and well organized, with events in chronological order and with equal passages of writing allocated to equal parcels of time. Instead, the mind which Joyce imitates recalls these things in the order in which they are associated with each other, connected by similar settings or by the repetition of important details. The memory switches back and forth in time, selecting fragments and tying them together with other fragments. This stream of consciousness approach allocated order and prominence to events, features, and character not according to their chronology but in proportion to their importance. So, this is all disjointed, fragmentary, the very hallmark of 20th century modernist fiction. Actually, he is a proponent of this. So, this is the first chapter, and it is how the novel starts. Once upon a time, you can see it. Once upon a time, a very good time, it was a moko coming along the road, and this moko that is coming down along the road met a nice little boy named Baby Tuko. So his father told him that story. His father looked at him through a glass. He had a hairy face. Oh, look at the narration. These are all the perceptions of a child. And the language he employs is also that of children. So this is like a gradual process. Later we can see when he grows up, the language, the pattern, the style of language also changes. So look at the language he employs, that is most important. This is what we call linguistic innovations in novel. He was a baby Tuku, Moko. Look at the names employed, like little children uses these words. Came down the road where Betty Byrne lived. She sold lemon plat. Oh, wild rose blossoms on the little green place. He sang that song. That was his song. So children has a tendency to make some songs their own, and they don't like others sing that song. So these were the songs sung to him, Stephen, sung to the protagonist of the novel when he was so small by his father. So some memories of that childhood prevails in his mind, and that is what is described here. And look at the language. Oh, green, what it. So this how children won't pronounce words as it is. they tend to use it as tha, ta, sounds come. So green, bote, botet. So very, very cute expressions of children is portrayed by James Joyce. When you wet the bed first time, it is warm. So these are senses. James Joyce is very famous, very for his using senses. He uses all the senses like smell, touch, color, seeing. So here we can see how the child senses that wetness in his bed. When you wet the bed first time it is warm, then it gets cold. His mother put on the oil sheet that had a pure smell. His mother had a nicer smell than his father. So this is the first thing that a child notices. He doesn't see, he doesn't understand other things. This is the only thing when you're very small infant, you could sense, that is smell. So he always remembers his mother smelling good than his father. She played on the piano the sailor's hornpipe for him to dance, and he danced. So Stephen and James Joyce both are same, because this is autobiographical. Many things that happened in James Joyce's life can be seen in Stephen. James Joyce's mother was a player, a musician. She played piano, and he had this quality, this talent of singing and dancing. And look at the way the song is written, tra la la la, tra la la la, tra la la dee. So very musical. We can see the musicality through these words. So that is the importance of James Joyce's work. Uncle Charles and Dante clapped. So all the important characters also come in the first chapter itself. Uncle Charles and Dante clapped. They were older than his father and mother, but Uncle Charles was older than Dante. So how this children connects with the age of grown-ups, that can be seen. Charles was older than Dante. Dante had two brushes in her press. The brush with the maroon velvet back was for Michael David, and the brush with green velvet back was for Parnell. So these are all colors that children notice when they are very small. So this is how the novel opens in a storybook fashion, and it is clear that the first chapter consists of an accumulation of Stephen's fragmentary memories of childhood. But our attention is constantly disrupted by disconnected fragments without commentary. Now we are going to see more and more such fragments, the memories of his life. It becomes clear that we are not dealing with a conventional novel with a linear progression of time. Instead, we have a mass of memories with sudden disruptions of time and place by the association of ideas and thoughts whose connection at this stage is not readily obvious. In the first chapter it is not obvious, but in the coming chapters it is very obvious how these fragmented perceptions are coming into play in this novel. However, the first chapter serves as a kind of overture, an overall introduction to the novel. For instance, Joyce makes clear the importance of the senses, the smells of his father and mother, the warmth and cold of the bed, the colors red and green, and so on. One senses, we can sense one sense sets off another, which is recalled by memory, giving the fragments form and significance. It is important to bear this in mind because As the novel develops, Stephen's sensitivity is enhanced by these stimuli, which are made more vigorous by his imagination.